What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mario B, coach of the Happy Valley Hariyamas, coming at you with our Week 2 matchup. So we're playing tshen and his fancy line garbordors. They took the L the first week, and we took the first L last week too. So we're both going to be going at it, trying to get that W. Should be a good game. He has a pretty tough team. Consists of, you guys can see it down in the corner, consists of Garchomp, Cresselia, Rotom Heat, Vaporeon, Mega Aggron, Hitmonchan, Crobat, Scolipede, Crawdon, Slurpuff, and Lurantis. So, as you can see, tough matchup. The Garchomp is his Z move user, so I'm really expecting him to bring that. Swords Dance with Stone Edge. Probably Fire Fang to hit my Fortress because he knows that's the only thing I have that can really take hits from it, or the Gligar. But Gligar can't really do too much to him back, while I feel Fortress has a better way to hit him. But anyways, we'll get more into that. Also, Mega Aggron is scary. I don't really have anything that can switch into it, because I'm pretty sure it's going to cover Ice Punch or Fire Punch for either my Fortress or Gligar. So those are things to look out for. The Vaporeon is going to be a little bit annoying with a Wish. Passing Crobat too, whether it's Nasty Bat or if he brings it just defensive. Could be a little bit of a struggle for my team, but and Choice Banded Crawdon is a big fear I have for our team. So this is our 6 that we're bringing. You guys can see them right here. Starting off with El Diggy, aka Fortress, right here. Rocket Spikes, Rapid Spin, Toxic, and Gyro Ball. But just a basic set, max HP, max defense, just to take on his Garchomp, to be completely honest. So I switch in on it. If he has the Fire Fang, it's something I'm gonna scout out with first. With probably Gligar, probably switch this in. This is also it's actually meant to like not really check Garchomp too much. I said that by accident, but I started off with it anyway. So it's mostly here to check Scolipede. Even though I don't expect him to bring Scolipede because it literally can't touch this in any type of way. This is going to be my main check to it. And if he doesn't bring the Scolipede, then this is mostly going to be for Garchomp. And doesn't really have a way to hit Mega Aggron, but I can set up some spikes on him. Because Spike's going to be really good for chipping him down for my Mega Gallade. Just go in, and my, what's it called, that, aka Tornadus. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's pretty much all this set's going to do. So I brought South Cheeser, shout out to my bro, aka Snorlax, with a Curse Rest Sleep Talk return set with the Muscle Band, 252 HP, 196 defense, and 60 plus special defense with a careful nature. So the reasoning behind this set is the defense is to really take on hits from the Crawdon along with the Garchomp. It can take a couple hits. The only bad thing is it can't do much to it in return. But if it does get a Swords Dance up, this isn't really primarily too good of a switch. But this can also take on Mega Aggron pretty well. I can curse up on it to +6 and probably do about, I think it was 37 or 43 to Mega Aggron, so I should be able to hit him hard. And this is also, I believe, my Lurantis check, because Lurantis can't really touch this. So if he does bring it, it can be contrary with Leaf Storm, so that's something annoying that I have to look out for too. So this is most of the check for all those mons. Next, I got my boy El Chicano, aka Gligar, out here with the Eviolite, Immunity, Boost, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Toxic, Max Defense, Max HP. This is my Gligar check actually. Like my one, if he brings Scolipede and Garchomp, I'll most likely use this for the Garchomp just because he can't Toxic it back and roost off anything he wants to do. I think a +2 Dragonium Z with Outrage did about 78 to something, 78 to like 84, I think, something like that. So he goes ahead and Dragonium Z's on him. I can just roost it back off, Toxic stall him, probably, most likely Earthquake him instead of rocks. Anything I really need to do, but this is all this is for, with the Impish Nature, just to increase his defense. So with the combination of Stealth Rock is really important because I need as much chip off on his Mega Aggron as possible. I need chip off on his Cresselia, and I need chip off on his, I think it's, is it Lurantis? It might be Lurantis. So that's what the spikes and the toxic and Stealth and toxic on this is for. I need a toxic his mons, bring him down a bit. Everything can be toxic on his team except for Mega Aggron, I believe. Yeah, so he doesn't have any Crobats, but I mean, I don't really expect Crobat too much. Like I said, the top 6 are the ones I'm expecting the most, but if it does come, I mean, I can't really touch it. I just gotta switch out. But anyways, I'm trying to get chip off on him for this guy right here, my boy Canelo, aka Megalade. Sword Dance, Close Combat, Knockoff, Ice Punch. With 104 HP, 156 attack, 52 defense, and 196 speed with Jolly Nature. So I made this set specifically to outspeed Garchomp, knock it out with an Ice Punch. The defense too allows me to set up on any one of his mons. I think the most I take from one of his mons is maybe Mega Aggron, a heavy slam, and it's about 58 to like 70%. So I could take one of those, set up a Sword Dance, and it's pretty much over from there. Close Combat lets me hit his home team. The only thing I'm not outspeeding is Crobat, and if I do need to hit Crobat with an Ice Punch, I can take his Brave Bird. I think it only does about 60% max. So with this defense investment and HP investment, so that's basically the reason I did it, to allow me to set up so I can just win game. And that's why Spikes and Stealth Rock is so important for this game, because I can get chipped down that Mega Aggron, because Close Combat at +2 does, I think, I don't expect a max defense, but I expect him to have some defense specifically to take a hit from this guy. So at +2 with that intact investment, I believe it's a guaranteed OCO with Stealth Rock and 1 layer of Spikes up. So I'm trying to get 1 layer of each, and then after that my guy can definitely come in and just wreck. So the next guy we have is Skeletal, aka Incineroar, rocking a 204 HP, 252 Adamant Nature with 4 EVs in defense and 4 EVs in def with 44 EVs in speed. So the speed is to outspeed a Vaporeon, non-speed invested Vaporeon. The HP is really just to take a hit from Mega Aggron. Switches in, takes about 30% from the Earthquake. I'll go ahead and hit it with a Flare Blitz, but most likely I'm expecting him to switch into the Vaporeon, so this is where I'll either Toxic it or I'll get it with a Knockoff, and Knockoff does about 40%, I believe 30 to 40% with the Adamant Nature, so he's going to be putting in a lot of work. U-turn Knockout just to knock off to annoy things, and U-turn to switch out. I can switch on the Vaporeon too, that's what's really good, so I'll knock it off and I'll probably U-turn out into something like my boy right here, so Cheezer. I forgot to mention that this guy is also my Rotom, Heat, and Vaporeon check, so if he wants to Volt Switch, if he thinks he can do it for free, I'll just bring this in. He doesn't really have a strong fighting type besides Hitmonchan, and with this defense investment, I take a couple Drain Punches, which I'm pretty sure he's going to have, not Close Combat. So that's this set. This is the last set right here, my boy. My first pick, I didn't bring him to the first game. That's why I messed up. Brought him to the second game. He's gonna carry us. Fire Emblem Z Heat Wave. If my Megalade, if he brings Crobat, I want to set up on the Crobat. So what I'm gonna do is I need this guy to take out Mega Aggron so that my Megalade does not have to. My boy Quetzalcoatl is gonna come in. He's gonna hit him with a Fire Emblem Z Heat Wave for about max with def is gonna do the minimum 79%. So this is gonna fuck him up. 144 special attack with the Rash Nature, 228 EVs. I believe that outspeeds. Excuse me. I think that's only outspeeding Mega. I think it's just Garchomp. I think it outspeeds Garchomp. But yeah. And then the 136 EVs is just so I could take hits. Hidden Power Ice for the Garchomp. Hurricane hits everything that Heat Wave really doesn't. I mean, can't really win. This is mostly meant for the Hitmonchan. Who else? The Crawdon. I outspeed a lot of his teams, so I can hit him with a Hurricane. Vaporeon, Rotom Heat, Cresselia. Initially I had like Dark Pulse, but I figured I might as well just U-turn into it and get into like my Incineroar or something, because Incineroar is EV to take a couple Moonblasts. So yeah, that's the 6 I'm bringing. I should be back with the battle right now. I'm recording this before the battle, just so you guys have my mind state. And unfortunately, the battles are post-com, but wish us luck, man. Our week 2, we're trying to catch a W out here. We're trying to be 1-1 after this week, and then next week we have another matchup. So I'm actually gonna start getting ready to build that team right now because I'm a little late on this week's battle. But thanks for watching. Coming at you with our week 2 battle against tshen. So as you guys can see, the 6 that he brought ended up being Crobat, Crawdaunt, Slurpuff, Cresselia, Garchomp, and the Scolipede. So looking at team matchup, I wasn't really too scared. The only thing I was fearing was the Choice Bandit Crawdaunt, also the Life Orb, maybe Swords Dance Crawdaunt, and then I was also fearing the Belly Jump Slurpuff, but I knew I had the Fortress first, so I wasn't really too worried. And then Nasty Bat, I was hoping it wasn't a Nasty Bat set. I was hoping it was more offensive, something that my Snorlax can definitely take, my Fortress can definitely take, my Gligar can definitely take. So I wasn't really too worried about it. But going into the battle, this is what happened. Snorlax, as he ends up going for the lead of Crobat, so he goes ahead and throws his Batman in there, and I go, how funny, I think I need my Gligar Batman too. But anyways, he throws in the Gligar, I go ahead and throw in the Snorlax. So turn 1 here, I'm not really fearing anything. I'm like, why not go for the curse? I'll get a +1 defense, most of his team is defensive, and yeah, pretty much. So he ends up going for the U-turn, switches out into the Menace, which is going to be the Crawdaunt. I go ahead and get my curse up here pretty easily. So at this point, I calc it. I know that a Choice Bandit Crawdaunt did not outcome me at the point that I was from. So I was thinking about going for another curse here, but I ended up just going for the Body Slam. Body Slam did about 87% max, as he ends up going for the Sword Dance, which caught me off guard because I was not expecting that. I was expecting like a Crab Hammer and knockoff to come off here. But I hit him with the Body Slam, for about 87%. As he hits me with the knockoff. At +2, I do survive, but he turns out to be a Life Orb. So, and I live that on 3, luckily, and I'm able to knock him out with a return. And he goes down. So here, Snorlax, I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. I can't really rest. I was a rest sleep talk set, but I really couldn't do anything to him. So I went ahead and switched out into my boy Quetzalcoatl. To take a U-turn, Brave Bird could take anything, turn out, Regenerator, get his health back. He ends up going for the U-turn, which was a good play on my opponent's part. He goes ahead and gets Switch Initiative. At this point, I don't really know what he wants to bring in. I was kind of thinking Garchomp, but then I was like, maybe the Cresselia would be better, as he does bring in the Cresselia. I go ahead and U-turn out because I don't really have anything to hit this with. I was wishing I put Toxic on this, because I think if Toxic would have been on this set instead of maybe Knockoff, it would have been a lot better. But I go ahead and switch out into my Incineroar here, as he ends up going for the Side Shock this turn, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, goes for Toxic, and he misses, which sucked. It didn't really play too much of a big part in the battle, but it always sucks to miss your Toxic, Thunder Wave, stuff like that. So I go for the knockoff as he goes for Protect here. So I figure out his Toxic Protect, which is kind of a stally set, as he does go for Toxic again, because he knows he can live a knockoff and Moonlight on it back again. Plus he outspeeds. I messed up. I should have EV'd to outspeed Cresselia, but I think I outspeeded for a Vaporeon. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit him with a knockoff here. Does a little bit, he has the Cobra Berry, of course, right? I take some toxic damage here, and here I'm kind of like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was thinking he was gonna switch out into Garchomp, so I went ahead and made the Quetzalcoatl play because he actually does have a hidden power ice on it, and he outspeeds it. So kind of a bad part on my end. He goes ahead and Moonlights here. I'm thinking in my head like, damn, I should have just Toxic, but oh well. Go ahead and U-turn back out, get a little bit of chip damage on him. And I'm gonna go right back. Actually, this turn I don't go into my. Oh yeah, I do go into my Incineroar here. So go ahead and get protecting the Toxic, but he ends up going for the Side Shock this turn, which of course isn't gonna affect me. So then at this point I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. I know that knockoff only does about 48. I know he can still stall me out. So I think I go for the knockoff here, as he's just gonna go for Protect, trying to get some extra. Oh, I actually went for the Toxic because I knew that I couldn't beat this thing down unless I Toxic it, which never really rang to me during team building. But anyways, I go ahead and Toxic there, so he's gonna switch out. Predicting that, go ahead and go for a knockoff because I'm like, I know he's going to want to switch out this turn. He's not going to want to get toxic on this. So I end up doing half to this Crobat, a little bit less than half. And by this damage, I figure out that he is actually fully invested. If not fully invested, mostly invested. So he's going to go ahead and U-turn here. As I realize I'm taking a lot of damage on this Incineroar, not as much as I want, because this is the thing that's going to have to take down Cresselia right here. So I knew that Flare Blitz would kill the Crobat. I was thinking that he would try to go for Brave Bird since it was offensive. I went ahead and stayed in. I messed up. He went ahead and actually switched into his Cresselia, so let's go put on his end. I actually forgot I had the Eye of Papa Berry here, which actually kicked in nicely. So at this point I go ahead and switch out, and I go ahead and go into my Quetzalcoatl again, just to get a U-turn off, just to get some damage, as he is going to go for the Moonlight here. Now this Cresselia is being very annoying. So I'm thinking in my head, alright, I'm just going to go into my Mega Gallade and I'm going to try to set up here. So I U-turn out, I'm going to go into my Mega Gallade, try to catch this thing going for a Side Shock, because Side Shock only did about 15% to this Mega Gallade since it was... Oh, actually I decided to go ahead and sack off my guy here, as I thought he was going to go for Moonlight at first. But he ended up didn't. He actually didn't, so he ended up going for the Toxic here. He knocked me out with the Toxic. So Cresselia is picking up a kill here off the poison. Cresselia actually picks up a couple kills this game. Spoilers, sorry. But he isn't going to go ahead and kill my Snorlax here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Mega Gallade. And I'm going to try to get a free Swords Dance up. Maybe set up on this guy. Why not? So he goes ahead and actually stays in on me. And at first I was debating whether or not going for the Sword Dance or just a plain knockoff. I ended up going with the knockoff because I thought he was going to switch out, not let me set up for free. So he actually does do a knockoff, and that does nothing. It did absolutely nothing to Cresselia. And I know in my head, I'm just like, I'm going to lose this game. I'm going to lose this game to this stupid Cresselia. I'm not going to be able to take it down. And I don't know how. I mean, I'm going to try to. So I switch out. Probably should have Swords Dance there on the Protect, but misplay on my end. I actually made a couple misplays in this game. Go ahead and switch this out, and I'm like, alright, I'm just going to go ahead and try to get my spikes up. So if I get my spikes up and I get a Swords Dance up with Mega Gallade, I can try to win this game, right? That was the game plan at first. So I was like, I'll take this opportunity to go ahead and get my layers up. He's going to switch out. He cannot touch this Fortress. I'm going to go ahead and go for the spikes here, I believe. As I do. So I get up a layer of spikes as he brings the Scolipede. I'm like, okay, this is my check. Him bringing this in here rang in my head that this is defensive. There's no way he's gonna have anything for me. So he goes ahead and goes for the Toxic Spikes here, as I'm gonna go for the Gyro Ball or Gyro Ball, however you guys pronounce it, and that does about a good chunk, about 40%. So I know as he gets his speed boost that he's gonna start doing more. So I figured I'd take this chance to go ahead and go for another spike here, as he switches out into Cresselia again. Actually, I think I go for the Gyro Ball here. Yeah, I go for another Gyro Ball here, thinking, okay, I'll get as much damage off as I can on this Scolipede, because since it is defensive. He goes for the Side Shock here. You're going to see that does nothing, does absolutely zero. And I'm going to rapid spin these Toxic Spikes away, because I don't want the rest of my monsters to be toxic, because I didn't bring a Florigist and I don't have a Aromatherapy. So I'm going to go ahead and eat some leftovers right here on the break, as my Fortress is going to get up another layer of spikes this turn. So now I have 2 layers of spikes up, no Toxic Spikes on my end, and I feel like I'm in an alright position. So Garchomp comes in, and I'm predicting the Fire Fang, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Gligar. I know he was either going to Fire Fang or Swords Dance here, take the opportunity to me backing out of here to go ahead and do something like that, but he ends up going for the Substitute, which kind of sucked, because if this had a little bit of HP investment, my Earthquake was not going to break this sub. So I was really worried at this point. He goes ahead and Swords Dance up, and I'm just thinking in my head like, okay, maybe it won't be too bad, you know. At least he's not scarfed or something like that. My Quetzalcoatl can come in, HP Ice him, and at this health that he's at, he'll die, you know. So I go ahead and do it. Thankfully, it breaks the sub. Did about 23 to 28, so I actually got a good roll on that. So he ends up going for Dragonium Z here, which I was predicting him to be. A big misplay on my end, I think, was just not thinking about what could have been his last move. I mean, he had obviously Outrage to hit me with Devastating Drake, and he had Earthquake, Sub, and Swords Dance. So that should have rang in my head, and I should have probably brought in my my Fortress here. But unfortunately I didn't. I went ahead and brought this in. I know it outspeeds and it has Ice Punch. So he goes ahead and switches out here. He doesn't want to take the Ice Punch to the face, and I think he goes into his Scorpede, as I'm going to hit this up with an Ice Punch, and it does a nice amount of damage. It takes that spike damage to that nice spike damage, and I'm really happy because getting rid of this means that my Fortress is kind of expendable because I don't have to rapid spin his hazards away anymore. Once he dies, my Fortress is meant for the guard chop slowly. So now I really think about it, I should have thought about that. Garchomp only having 2 moves, but hey, rookie move on my mistake, you know, still new to it, trying to learn. So he goes ahead and gets some leftovers. He protects, as he's gonna rack up that little bit of toxic damage on me, which I'm kind of thinking at this point, I don't know if Mega Gallade is gonna be able to sweep. I'm definitely gonna need my Tornadus to take everything. So he's gonna go ahead and go for the Mega Horn here, which is gonna do a lot more than I expected. When I calced it, it said it was only gonna do about 60% max, and that did a lot more than 60. So I don't know how that happened. He ends up knocking me out. I thought I could live a hit and knock something else out, but oh well. Mega Gallade goes down and go ahead and bring in my Tornadus. Like I said, Tornadus is now the key to winning this game. It's gonna put in a lot of pressure. It still has that Fire MC. Here in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna let this go. Right, I need to let this go. He has nothing that can really switch in on this, and I didn't think I was gonna outspeed the Crobat, but I ended up outspeeding it because I guess it wasn't that invested. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch out the Fire MZ right here. Look at this. Look at how badass this looks. Boom, boom to the face, real quick. Boom to the face. So that is gonna be enough to knock out this Crobat. As Crobat goes down. Now I'm thinking, I'm not really sure what he wants to go into. And he goes into Slurpuff. I see that my Hurricane does about 69 to 79, something like that. So I go ahead and go for Hurricane, praying that it'll hit, and it does. I hit him with the Hurricane. He has the berry, obviously, because he's a belly drum set. And then he goes ahead and belly drums here. Now this is a very important part in the battle. And I'm not going to make excuses. I was not educated out here. I forgot that Slurpuff gets unburdened, and I let my Tornadus go down here, which from this point was pretty much game. What I should have done was switch into my guy right here, because as you can see right here, he's gonna take 2 of these with the Drain Punch and knock him out with Gyro Ball in return. So that's just a really big misplay on my part. The Drain Punch would have 3-hit KO'd me, and I would have knocked him out with Gyro Ball, and I still would have had my Tornadus in the background. So that was just really such a big misplay on my end. This game was definitely winnable. We were in a good position. The plan was to Toxic his Cresselia with my Incineroar still, and then at that point apply pressure. Oh, actually, Incineroar pad. Did Incineroar die yet? No, he didn't. Yeah. So I was gonna kill him. I was gonna Toxic him with the Incineroar, get him as weak as possible, and then Tornadus can clean up the game because it outspeeds this, and it also knocks out the Cresselia in the back that he has. So yeah, pretty much messed up. Should have switched out. Should have thought my plays out a little bit more. I was a little distracted at the time, but no excuses, you know. I mean, good game to tshen. Definitely a good game. And man, these games are just so close. It's getting me really frustrated because I feel like I'm really you know, playing well, but sometimes I just forget little slip ups here and there, and it costs me the game, you know. But hey, you know, this game's fun. I'm enjoying it. So I mean, hopefully next game, you know, we can come out on top. Sorry if I ruined the video a little early by telling you I lost, but I mean, man, it was a close game though. It was a close game. Hopefully next week we come on top. You know, our record's now 0-2, so not looking so hot, but I promise y'all, I'm gonna go on a run. We going on a run, and we ain't stopping, boy. Chubby boys don't stop. You know what I'm saying? So again, good game, tshen. Really fun game actually. I remember last season too, the half season that I played like 4 games, but I played against him too, and he brought like a Calm Mind Zeraora, and it was just so fun. But yeah guys, I mean, if you guys liked the video, go ahead and drop a like down below. Go ahead and drop a sub if you're new. I'd really appreciate the love, trying to get this started. So yeah, I'll be back with the next battle, and stay blessed, y'all. I'll see y'all. Deuces.